Hey guys, how's it going? So welcome to today's video. So I'm doing my 2-month update. So I put a poll out on Twitter and asked you guys if you think it would be more beneficial for me to A, do a normal video, or 2, do a live stream Q&A. So the results of that was a really useful 50-50, but thank you for you guys who did vote. So basically what I'm going to do is this month for my month 2 video, I'm going to do just a normal video. And that's mostly because of time constraints, to be honest. And next month, for my 3-month video, I'm going to do a live stream Q&A. So if you want to ask me any questions or anything like that, it's going to be a great opportunity. Or just if you want to stop by and chat, then that's great too. So without any further ado, what was my goals for last month? The main one was to finish the second textbook in the series by NTNU University, which I did. And because I went to Glastonbury, took 5 days out, did literally 0 Chinese the time I was there. I don't regret it whatsoever. It was an absolutely incredible week, and it was really nice to have the time away and now coming back to it with some fresh perspective. So I was a little bit behind with that. I think I finished, if I remember correctly, on like the 4th of July. It's the 8th of July recording this video now. Yeah, a few days behind, but I did start this a bit early and I went through the first 10 chapters of this, so that's kind of made up some of the time. Now, how did I think the book went? I mean, I think again I'm starting to build up a base in terms of basic vocabulary and grammar, and because I've been immersing in TV shows up till now, with the help of the Chinese subtitles, I'm finding about 2 months in now I can follow the gist for most TV shows, and I can follow the general plot really well. Obviously a lot of details going over my head still, but I think it's enough to start enjoying the shows more, and because I'm enjoying it more, my brain's more active when I'm watching the shows now. I'm more engaged when I'm watching them because it's more interesting, and I think then that can also be a catalyst to help me learn more, and I think the snowball's picking up some speed, so I think that's definitely a positive sign. As for the textbook, towards the end of the month actually, I started to get really sick of it because the content is just so dry. So probably the last 5 chapters in the book out of 15, you know, I was really kind of just going on autopilot and just kept on going. So now I'm done. Now that I'm finished, I'm really excited to move into more interesting content. So it brings me to my month 3 and 4. I'll either be dissecting YouTube videos and going through Remembering the Hanzi 2. One other thing that I did do as well, which I'm not sure if I mentioned before, I've learnt the Bopomofo or Juyin, and I've created a deck for that on Anki. Basically it's kind of like Hiragana but for Taiwanese Mandarin with all the basic sounds. So I'm not going to go too much detail into that today because I'm planning to create a separate video on that in the future, in the next few weeks, so I'll talk in a lot more detail about that then. But I feel that I've learnt the basics of Bopomofo. I can write all of them now based on ear, based on hearing the sound, but I haven't done as much as connecting them up and writing out full words and stuff yet. At the moment it's been very much I've learnt the basics, so might be looking to experiment with that more in the future and take that a bit further. As to whether I go with that or Pinyin, I'm not sure, maybe a combination of both, but in terms of Pinyin resources, I guess it really is unavoidable. But probably when I get to Taiwan, there'll be a plethora of resources I can use aimed for either native kids or just natives in general that do use Bopomofo. So I do definitely think it's going to be worth my time to learn it. So on for months 3 and 4, so basically I'm just going to think out loud for this, and hopefully you guys can take some value from that. And if you have any tips for me, then please leave a comment, or if you think it sounds like a good plan, or if you think it sounds like a bad plan, whatnot. All opinions are welcome, so please do leave me a comment for that. So basically I was having a bit of a dilemma with thinking what the best thing is to do, because I now have 2 months left before I go to Taiwan, and I want to learn Mandarin to a high level. So when I was learning Cantonese, I did go through Heisig 1 and learned to write by hand about 700-ish characters on top of that, which is total about 2,200-ish. This would cover another 1,500. I think some of which I'd have already covered already just from the random cards I did with Cantonese. Some of them I won't have. So in terms of general character ability, this is going to help a lot in the long term, I think. But 2 months isn't a long time in terms of learning a language, and obviously when I go, I'm going to be put in a situation probably where I'm going to have to start using Mandarin, and the more I can understand of native speakers, the more I can try and integrate and find some friends there, and I really do think it's going to make my experience a lot more enjoyable if my listening is better. So I was kind of cut down the middle if I should focus on remembering the Hanzi, or if I should focus on my listening comprehension, going through YouTube videos and stuff like that and really dissecting them. So for now, I figure at the moment, as long as I carry on immersing, then my listening is still improving. I think it's improving at a fairly decent level, at least, fairly decent pace. So I've made the decision to have more of a long-term vision in mind, and I'm going to go through a lesson a day from Remembering the Hanzi 2. Now, some of these lessons are really short, less than 10 characters. Some of them are really long, over 40, 50. The short ones I'm going to double up, and the long ones I'm probably going to split over 2 days. So it's not to the lesser a lesson a day, but there or thereabouts I'm going to be aiming to keep a constant pace of a lesson a day. And this is going to get harder towards the second half of the book because the lessons in general get longer throughout the progression of the book. So for now that's fine, and I've been doubling up a lot of the lessons so far because there's a lot with less than like 10 characters. So yeah, so that's going to be my month 3 goal, and by the time I get to the end of July, it's July now, and into my month 4, which would be August, I think I'm 16 lessons in now, and this is the 8th of July, so I should be, somewhere between 30 and 40 lessons into the book, and then it wouldn't be too much to finish it from there in. So I'm undecided whether for my 4th month I should go with finishing the Remembering the Hanzi 2 and just have it completed, or go back and focus really on just dissecting dialogues on, say, YouTube with authentic material and just doing that to boost my listening comprehension. Then as well, the thing is, because there's only a few lessons left, I could do, when I'm in Taiwan, say 3 weeks with dialogues, just 1 week with Remembering the Hanzi, and just do that for like, say, 2 or 3 months. And then that in itself would be enough to finish off the book, even doing it at a pace of only dedicating 1 week a month. So there's a few options I have at the moment, but for now, going forward, at least 1 lesson a day from Remembering the Hanzi 2 a day, or thereabouts, and I'm going to go until the end of July, and at the start of August I'm going to reassess and decide, do I want to finish the book, do I want to focus more on my listening, I don't know yet, and I will update you guys close to the time. Thanks for watching. So the next months will be a live stream, so if you're interested in that, and maybe we can get a bit of dialogue going about some of the things that I've talked about today. In terms of Bopu Mofu, I'm going to share my Anki deck in the future, and I will do that when I get around to making a video on the subject, so I can try and cover everything that I want to say in that, and that will hopefully be sometime this month in July as well, but I am rather busy, so don't hold me to that. So yeah, quickly as well then, I'll just show you, let me just put my camera up here. So really quickly before I go, what sort of things was I looking at when I'm talking about dissecting YouTube videos? STR Network is a great YouTube channel my friend showed me, and it has here the Night Show and the host Brian, and what I like about this is covers a variety of topics that are actually fairly interesting. The host is super funny, they all have, or not all of them, a lot of them have subtitles, and you've got a lot of videos that are here 4 minutes, so 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes there, some of them even 3 minutes, so you've got a lot of short, interesting, funny videos at natural pace with transcript, because you've got subtitles. So if I just click on a video here, you can go down and just open the transcripts up like that, turn off the timestamps if you want, and I don't know if you know this as well, if you click on a random line from the transcript, it redirects you to that put in the video. So actually, in terms of language learning, it really is quite good. And I think because the dialogues are very natural, this would be a very fun and very useful way to boost my listening comprehension before I go. And maybe the other thing I would consider as well is, again, same thing, you know, YouTube video and transcripts, whatever, is to learn a few songs. And I know in general songs are probably less dense and maybe a bit of more poetic language than what you use in day-to-day life. It might not be as useful in a word sense, but I guess two things which I think there would be potential benefits from learning the lyrics for songs, or three benefits, I guess. One, it's fun, it's a nice break. Two, if I've got a music playlist going, I think the fact that I would have intensively studied the song before, then going back to it when I hear that song just when I'm listening to music, that's going to be repetition and just built into the fact that the song's in my playlist. And three, if I go to karaoke/KTV with my friends, then if I'm in Taiwan potentially, then you know that could be a fun way to help with that. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Please leave me a comment what your goals are for July, what you think of my plan for the next 2 months. As I said, it's not set in stone. It's very much remembering the Hanzi this month, and then next month is August, my month 4 before I go to Taiwan. Is a bit out in the open. I think I'm going to carry on with remembering the Hanzi and try to complete it before I go to Taiwan, and then from then on in it can just be a case of trying to, you know, do a little bit of sentence mining, watch a lot of TV, and read as many books as I can. And that is really the stage I want to be at, because that is, in my opinion, the most fun stage, because, you know, you're starting to pick up words left, right and centre from interesting content, and you're starting to get some traction. So the content's interesting, and it's interesting because you're learning about a new culture and a new language, and you know, it's just I think it's just a really good place to be in, and to kind of not have this looming on me as a to-do thing still would be really, really good. So that's my thoughts at the moment. Like I said, I'll let you know if anything changes. So thank you so much for watching, and for those of you who did vote in my Twitter poll, then thank you so much. Your feedback is really useful, even if it did come back as 50-50. It's useful to know at least there's people out there that do like both style of videos, so I'm going to try my best to vary between these two as I go forward. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.